Good morning. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the John Hill Chapel for this morning's 2020 Founders Day Convocation. As we prepare to begin this morning, I invite you first to remove any baseball caps you may be wearing this morning. Secondly, to silence your cell phone at this time. And finally, as you are able, I invite you to stand for our processional. Thank you.
Please be seated. Welcome, everyone, to the Founders Day and Hall of Fame induction service. As president of Georgetown College, it is a special joy for me to welcome each and every one of you to the beautiful campus of Georgetown College for one of the most important and tradition-rich events in the life of our institution. Each Founders Day, we celebrate the meaningful and inspiring history of Georgetown College, recognize some of our outstanding alumni, and look forward to the future with great excitement and optimism. It is good to see so many familiar faces in the audience as we begin our spring semester and my second term here at Georgetown College. Faculty, staff, coaches, and students, welcome back. It is wonderful to all be together again on our campus. And to those of you, our new students just joining our campus community, welcome. We're so glad you chose Georgetown. Over the course of last semester, thanks to the work of First Lady Amy Jones and Christy Mai, Executive Director of Strategic Advancement Initiatives, the Jones family hosted 12 different groups of students in our home. At those joy-filled gatherings, I regularly ask two questions of students. What makes Georgetown College great, and what can we do better? Nearly every answer about what makes the college great centered around our faculty, our staff, and our coaches. I heard stories about fantastic teaching, extra effort given in tutoring individual students and full classes, and conversations over lunch or coffee about calling and career mentoring. Let's give our faculty, our staff, and our coaches an extra hand of welcome this morning. Thank you very much. In addition to our campus community, we have several special honorees and guests with us today. If you are a member of the Alumni Hall of Fame, will you please stand and be recognized? Those who've already been inducted into the Alumni Hall of Fame. Former award winners. Also, we have some members of the college's Board of Trustees and Alumni Board in attendance, including our trustee vice chair. I saw him in the back, Bob Mills. Our trustees give sacrificially of their time, talent, and financial treasure. If you are a member of the college's Board of Trustees or Alumni Board, will you please stand and be recognized? Board members, Alumni Board. Bookie, Horace, Reverend, thank you for joining us. Whether you are a returning alum or a member of our Board of Trustees or are attending your first convocation on campus, please know that we are glad you are here and that you are a part of our institution whose roots go all the way back to 1829. Again, welcome everyone. Now I invite Dr. Barbara Birch, Professor of English, to offer our invocation. Following the invocation, Dr. Rosemary Allen, Provost and Dean of the College, will come forward for a special faculty award presentation, the Curry Award.
Gracious Lord, we stand before you today in gratitude and need. We give thanks for the founders of Georgetown College. We walk with their spirits. We are humbled by their benevolence and blessed to work and grow in the place built by their labor and sacrifice. We pray for the trustees, administration, and staff. May their planning be guided by wisdom and love for the institution and people in their care. May their endeavors be met with goodwill and enduring achievement. We pray for the faculty. Let their teaching arise from love of their discipline and concern for those seeking to learn. Allow their days to be filled with the joy that comes from seeking the truth and encouraging others to experience the same. Most of all, we pray for our students, support and bless their efforts, protect their physical and mental health. Grant them hearts that are open to the power of reason, reading, memory, and thought. Reward them with self-confidence and the love of a community that supports them when they struggle and rejoices when they succeed. We ask these things in the name of God the Father, His Son, and the Holy Spirit, who are and ever shall be in a world without end. Amen.
The Curry Award for Faculty Excellence is named in honor of Dr. Ralph Curry and Dr. Gwen Curry, two longtime leaders of the Georgetown College faculty and former chairs of the English department. The award is intended to recognize 3 elements of faculty life that were important to the Currys: service to faculty, excellence in scholarship, and dedication to students. This is a particularly significant year for this award, since later in the ceremony we will be inducting Dr. Gwen Curry into our College Hall of Fame. We have 3 significant awards each year that are given to faculty. We present the John Walker Manning Award at opening convocation to a faculty member who excels in mentorship of students. We present the Cawthorn Award at commencement to a faculty member who is recognized as an outstanding teacher. But the Curry Award is special because it gives us an opportunity to recognize faculty who combine excellent teaching and academic research with the very important behind-the-scenes work of faculty committees and the special projects that are part of our institutional tradition of shared governance and faculty engagement. This year's recipient approaches every new task with boundless energy and creativity, bringing ideas for improvement and solutions to problems. At a time of constraints on the institutional budget, his creativity has allowed him to help his department and the institution as a whole to do more with less. His participation in shared governance is extraordinary in its candor and in its effectiveness. As a teacher and artist, he is beloved for his creativity, inventiveness, and humor. Most significantly, he designed, initiated, and maintains the college's unique program of distinction in the fine arts called Prototype, mentoring students and fostering and directing their growth as artists and as collaborators in the college's artistic community. I am honored to present this year's Curry Award for Faculty Excellence to Professor Daniel Graham.
Congratulations again, Professor Graham. Let's give him one more round of applause. It is a very significant and well-deserved honor. Another highlight of each Founders Day celebration is the inclusion of new members into the Georgetown College Hall of Fame. To date, 95 individuals have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. As I have gotten to know the college better through this first 6 months of my service here as president, one of the things I have regularly said is that Georgetown College offers a championship-level education of the heart and mind. We care what you students are learning, head knowledge, and who you are becoming, heart knowledge. And I can't think of a better group of individuals than these 95 folks and those who will be inducted today that embody the proof of such a statement. The Georgetown College Hall of Fame was established in 1993 to recognize persons whose lives bring honor to the college and who make notable contributions towards the betterment of society. Each year, a nominating committee recommends the names of Hall of Fame candidates to the college's Board of Trustees for its approval. The list of Hall of Fame inductees include, among others, physicians, missionaries, pastors, leaders in the military and diplomatic service, business leaders, writers, federal judges, a Bible translator, a United States senator, a former governor of Puerto Rico, and a professional football coach. The Hall of Fame membership is quite diverse, professionally and demographically. But there is an underlying and consistent theme that unites each honoree. That is significant loyalty and devotion to our beloved Georgetown College. The individuals being inducted today have certainly and absolutely earned this notable recognition and done so through the accumulated efforts of many years of wonderful service. It is a personal privilege and great joy to see them honored this day. And now I invite forward for the reading of the citations Ms. Laura Owlsley, Director of Alumni Relations. As she comes, I also invite to meet me below the stage our first recipients, Bob and Betty Likens.
Bob and Betty Bell Likens share a love that began on the campus of Georgetown College. The couple met while they were both attending Georgetown in the early 1960s and married soon after. Bob was from Harrodsburg, Kentucky, and Betty came to Georgetown from West Virginia. While they were at Georgetown, Bob was a member of Kappa Alpha and played football. Betty is a member of Kappa Delta sorority. They left GC in 1962, but have always been a part of the college. Their unwavering support has remained constant throughout the years. They believe in the mission of Georgetown College. Bob Likens' career took the couple all over the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Bob eventually retired as a Kentucky Utilities Company Regional Vice President in 1998. The Likens have two daughters who continue their legacy as proud Tigers. Both daughters, Lisa and Julie, attended Georgetown in the 1980s. Lisa teaches in the history department on campus. The next generation further continued that legacy with Julie's sons, Max and Alex, also attending Georgetown. Bob sums up their relationship to Georgetown College best. Georgetown is always in our hearts, and we are loyal Tigers. In honor of their continual support throughout the decades, it is a privilege to induct Bob and Betty Likens into the 2020 Georgetown College Hall of Fame. The family of Dr. Gwen Curry would come forward. Dr. Gwen Cranfield Curry was a native of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and the daughter of Dr. Samuel Eliot Cranfield, a Georgetown College professor. She earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in English from Georgetown in 1954. She received her master's degree from the University of Kentucky in 1965 and her PhD from Indiana University in 1980. While a student at Georgetown, she was a member of Sigma Kappa sorority, the band, and Masscrafters. She was also a member of Sigma Tau Delta's Honorary Society. Dr. Curry began teaching at Georgetown College in 1962 and later became full professor and chair of the English department. She and her husband, Dr. Ralph Curry, were instrumental in establishing the college's academic partnership with Regents Park College of Oxford University. When she retired from teaching in 2000, she continued as the director of the International Studies program at the college. Dr. Curry received the Cawthorn Award for Excellence in Teaching in 1992 and the George Walker Redding Faculty Award for Christian Service in 2000. She was named Kentucky's Case Professor of the Year in 1993. In 2003, she gave the McCandless Lecture at Regents Park College of Oxford. The Curry Award for Faculty Excellence, recognizing exemplary teaching and service, was established in 2005 in honor of Gwen and Ralph Curry. Dr. Curry passed away on April 16, 2013. In honor of her significant contributions to education and the legacy that she has left to the college, we are honored to induct Gwen Cranfield Curry into the 2020 Georgetown College Hall of Fame. Our next honoree is Leroy Buddy Albright and Jean Albright. Leroy Buddy Albright was born in Bell County in eastern Kentucky. Jean Flowers Albright grew up in Georgia. As fate would have it, they both attended Georgetown College in the late 1940s, where they fell in love and eventually married in 1950. Both Buddy and Jean felt a call to ministry at a young age and followed their dreams to become missionaries. They knew they were called to be missionaries in a foreign land. After achieving their bachelor's degree at Georgetown College in 1951, they both attended Southern Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky, during which time Buddy pastored a church in northern Kentucky. After their time at Southern Seminary and a short tenure for Buddy as a pastor in Kansas, Buddy and Jean Albright served as missionaries in South Central Africa and Mexico for 45 years. The Albrights dedicated their lives to serving God and won the Alumni Achievement Award from Georgetown in 1980. Jean passed away in December of 2015. They have 3 sons, Richard, Leroy, and Raymond, with Richard and Leroy attending Georgetown like their parents. In recognition of their lifetime devotion to missionary work and service to God, it is an honor to induct Buddy and Jean Albright into the 2020 Georgetown College Hall of Fame. Dr. Betty Jean Lyndall Chatham can trace the beginnings of her successful music career back to Georgetown College. She earned her bachelor's degree in piano performance in 1947 and went on to achieve a master's degree in music from the University of Louisville and honorary doctorate from Georgetown in 2000. As a student at GC, she founded and conducted the Baptist Student Union Choir. She traveled with Dr. Sam Hill, president of Georgetown College, visiting all over Kentucky to help raise funds to build the John L. Hill Chapel. She played the piano at every fundraising event. She also was the accompanist for the faculty chorale. During her senior year, she was the accompanist for the chapel choir. She also met her husband, the late Dr. Donald Chatham, class of 1948, during her senior year. Her distinguished career in music began in 1953 at First Baptist Church in Shelbyville, where she conducted the children's and youth choirs. She started a choir called the Life Singers, made up of high school students in Shelby County. During her professional career, she taught at Georgetown College and served as the artist in residence of piano. She retired after 60 years as the pianist for First Baptist Church in Shelbyville in 2012. Betty Jean is an accomplished musician and composer. As a pianist, she has performed across the United States and in 18 countries. She has published more than 80 pieces and recorded several albums during her career. She and her husband have additional strong ties to Georgetown College, both serving as trustees at one time. She received the Alumni Achievement Award in 1972. 3 of Chatham's 5 children are also Georgetown graduates, Dawn, Martha, and Sarah Beth. Because of her deep affection for and her many contributions to the college, Georgetown College is proud to induct Dr. Betty Jean Chatham into the 2020 Hall of Fame. Please come forward.
Congratulations to all of our Hall of Fame recipients. We're so proud of each and every one of you and your families and the connection and legacy you have with Georgetown College. We want to once again show our appreciation through applause to a lifetime of service to help make our world a better place. Congratulations. Betty Jean traveled across the state and beyond to help raise money for the chapel. Thank you for doing that. We've worked of late to try to raise money for a wheelchair ramp or accessibility ramp and also for a new lift in the front of the chapel. And unfortunately, tomorrow is the day that the inspector's coming to approve the lift. So we did not have it available today. But if anyone wants to come back tomorrow and give John Davis, our Vice President for Enrollment Management, a $20 bill, we'll give you a ride on the lift. And we'll use that $20 for scholarships. Again, congratulations to all of you, and thank you for all that you've done for the college and for humanity. I'm now personally delighted to get to introduce this year's Founders Day speaker, a person who is widely respected and known among Georgetown College alumni and friends, Miss Maggie Mills. Maggie Donaldson Mills graduated in 1969 from Georgetown College as a German major, an English minor with certification for teaching grades 7 through 12. She was a member of Wordmasters, Topette's drill team, a cappella choir, oratorio chorus, and chapel choir, and was an officer in many campus organizations. She was the 1969 Belle of the Blue, representing Kappa Delta sorority, and was selected as Masscrafter's Best Actress for her performance in The Crucible. In 1965, Maggie met Bob Mills, our current vice chair of the board and son of long-serving President Robert Mills. They married in 1969 and were stationed in Heidelberg, Germany, before moving to Cincinnati in 1973. In 1975, Maggie began her 35-year teaching career. She earned her master's in German from IU, Indiana University, in 1976, while working tirelessly to expand her students' experiences. As a high school teacher, she directed a championship drill team for 15 years, led German students to Europe, directed plays in German, organized her students' participation in Cincinnati's first local German-American Day community celebration, and developed a county-wide poetry prose writing forum for English students. In November of '91, the Norwood Board of Education presented Maggie with the Above and Beyond Call of Duty Commendation Award. Maggie enriched her teaching through extensive professional and personal development, studying German language, literature, and culture in Germany, and completing training in such fields as neuro-linguistic programming, accelerated learning, mind mapping, international baccalaureate approaches to learning, and brain compatibility learning and teaching. Maggie's passion for educational excellence ignited enthusiasm and appreciation for lifelong learning in her students, whose nominations led to her listing in Who's Who among Americans teachers and Outstanding American Teachers. Maggie officially retired in 2010, although she continued to teach after-school accelerated learning sessions through May of 2013. Maggie and Bob now live in Owenton, Kentucky. They have one son, Rob, and 3 grandchildren. Currently, she is creating an English as second language course for Hispanic students in Owen County, and she also serves on the scholarship committee of the Women's Association of Georgetown College. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Maggie Mills to the podium.
Thank you, President Green. Excuse me, President Jones.
You're welcome, Sally.
That was appropriate. Good morning, President Jones, trustees, administration and staff, faculty, Hall of Fame recipients and families, alumni, friends of the college, and Georgetown College students. I'm honored to be here with you today on Founders Day 2020. We are here to celebrate the rich history and heritage of Georgetown College. We are reminded today of some of those whose legacy of vision and perseverance created this wonderful institution. From the earliest days of the late 1700s, a strong interest in education had existed in Scott County and Georgetown. Elijah Craig had begun the Royal Spring Academy in 1787, where boys studied Latin, Greek, and science. A decade later, in 1798, Craig and other men applied to the governor and the Kentucky legislature for a land grant to establish a more permanent school named the Rittenhouse Academy. Several of its graduates went on to Transylvania to study theology and medicine. However, between 1826 and 1829, the school ceased operations. Regional interest in establishing a college to educate young men for the ministry had increased, which led 24 men in January of 1829 to seek a charter from the Kentucky legislature for that purpose. For 6 months, discussions went on as to the location. The Shelbyville group was not very assertive, and both Harrodsburg and Georgetown groups already had $20,000 in pledges. However, Georgetown also had the 9 acres of the Rittenhouse property and the building itself. After much deliberation, the decision was made in July 1829 that Georgetown would be the site for the new college. So a small campus with one small building and a modest income from the Issachar Pauling and Scott County funds, the trustees elected William Staunton as the first president of Georgetown College. He accepted, sent his books and papers ahead, but died unexpectedly at his son's home in Washington, D.C. before he reached Georgetown. The challenges of beginning a new college were just beginning. The trustees then elected Joel Bacon as the second president in 1830. During his first year, local disputes arose over the allocation and perceived mishandling of funds, resulting in Bacon's resignation in 1831. The college was now without a president for the next 5 years. By 1832, the immediate future of the college passed to Thornton Johnson, the first faculty member hired and the most popular professor on campus. He was a West Point grad, 24 years old, and taught civil engineering, math, and French. Now there's a liberal arts professor for you. He joined the Christian church in town, and not long after, he was dismissed from the faculty. Without its most popular professor, the college lost a few students, and the enrollment dropped to 11. Georgetown College then decided to take off its denominational hat and to rehire him. Starting with those 11 students in 1834, and with the help of a Latin teacher, Johnson carried the weight of the college and built the enrollment up to 104 in 1836 with an active faculty of 7. Now for the faculty presence, this shows you the amount of influence you can have if you are an excellent professor. And congratulations today to our Curry winner. In 1836, Benjamin Farnsworth was elected as the 3rd president. Once again, disputes arose, this time around the denominational requirements for hiring new faculty. The very popular Thornton Johnson decided to resign, and he opened a civil engineering school just a few blocks from Georgetown College. Nearly 60 students showed up on the first day, and the first year ended in 1837 with 203 students. That left Georgetown College in the fall of 1838 with only 20 students and 1 faculty member. President Farnsworth then resigned. Disunity, dissension in the Baptist ranks related to the differences of opinion regarding the work of Christian pastor Alexander Campbell, and the cholera epidemic, which had hit Georgetown in the 1830s, nearly closed Georgetown College. To survive, new leadership and more funding were desperately needed, setting the stage for the arrival of the 4th president in the late fall of 1838. Many have called Rockwood Giddings, at the young age of 27, the only real president of Georgetown College during those first 10 years of its existence. He had completed medical studies, was an ordained minister, was practical-minded, a quick decision maker, planned with discriminating clearness, and executed with promptness and energy. His dignity, excellent manners, amiable personality, and gifted communication skills commanded the respect and the esteem of all. Rockwood Giddings had been fully apprised of all the difficulties that the young college had endured and held the firm belief that he could bring much-needed stability. Giddings immediately hired 2 permanent faculty who remained with Georgetown College for nearly 50 years. Jonathan Farman taught natural science and operated a female seminary for a time, while Danford Thomas specialized in the classics, ancient languages, and served as the librarian near the end of his career. Giddings proved to be a talented fundraiser. He left the college in the capable hands of Farnham and Professors Garth and Hawkins, while he traveled the new gravel toll roads of Kentucky, seeking endowment funds and presenting to Baptists, ministers, and churches the importance of an educated ministry. In 8 months, he raised a remarkable $80,000 in cash and promissory notes. That is $2.2 million in today's calculations. Quite a feat. Encouraged by his success, the college trustees hired additional professors, purchased 10 acres of land, and contracted to build a new college building. Rockwood Giddings had great vision for the future of Georgetown College with his plans for a large permanent structure, which stands next door, and is the iconic landmark for Georgetown College. Unfortunately, though 6 feet tall, Rockwood Giddings had a somewhat frail constitution, and the intense labor of continual traveling on horseback in all kinds of weather for so many months weakened him. During these fundraising travels, he would often preach and baptize converts in lengthy revivals, resulting in frequent sicknesses. On the last day of one such 8-day meeting near Louisville, he collapsed in the pulpit and died not long after, in October 1839. Occasionally, still committed to his work even as his condition worsened, he would request of his visitors that they pledge to continue to give to the endowment of Georgetown College. Sadly, the college lost its highly dedicated fourth president just a few months after his 28th birthday. Who knows how much Rockwood Giddings could have accomplished had he been able to leave Georgetown College for many more years. The majestic, rectangular-shaped brick structure was named Recitation Hall until 1908. It had begun through Rockwood Giddings' firmness of purpose, and it now stood as a partially completed shell dominating the small Georgetown College campus. Its presence, along with 50 young men being taught by only 3 faculty members, in addition to a significant operating deficit, greeted President Howard Malcolm, who came in 1840. He was a remarkably talented and versatile leader who deserves much credit for firmly establishing the program of Georgetown College. Malcolm had an unusually comprehensive appreciation for and knowledge of what a liberal arts education in the 19th century and even beyond was all about. His ideas were much ahead of their time. The result was that Georgetown College curriculum became a compromise between the prior dominance of the classics of Greece and Rome and a higher education setting where sons of merchants, mechanics, and manufacturers could study electives alongside those preparing for the professions of law, medicine, and ministry. In 1841, Malcolm supervised the completion of Recitation Hall, raising $32,000 by talking all of the Baptist churches in Kentucky into giving $1 per member. Also, he supervised the building of the new Georgetown Baptist Church, relocated close to campus in 1842, and the construction of the men's dorm Pauling Hall in 1844. A network of organizations important to the future life of the college grew under his leadership, including literary societies, the preparatory school, the female seminary, the library, and the music program. Malcolm's distinguished work as president for 9 years gave the college direction and momentum that carried it through the many troubled decades which followed. The new Kentucky Constitutional Convention in 1849 protected slavery, and one of its victims was President Howard Malcolm, who held views on emancipation and was charged with smuggling anti-slavery literature into the college library. His life was threatened, so he resigned to return home to Pennsylvania. More challenges for Georgetown College were on the horizon. 2 students died of smallpox in 1854. And although in 1860, the graduation of 47 students, combining the college and the nearby female seminary, was the largest class of graduates in the 19th century, the Civil War took a toll. The college enrollment dropped from 400 to 100 during the Civil War. The female seminary burned, and the college closed for a year. The cycle of peaks and valleys continued for Georgetown College over the next many decades. One noteworthy circumstance is that Professor J.J. Rucker, a real champion for women, who had joined the faculty in 1855, restarted the female seminary after the Civil War in 1868. Just a mere 16 years later, in 1884, women were permitted to attend certain classes with the men at the college. The excellent academic performance of those women for the next 8 years resulted finally in the merging of the female seminary with the men's college in 1892, and joint enrollment neared 400. A magnificent American Gothic-style women's dorm named in honor of Professor Rucker was finished in 1895, and it, of course, was named Rucker Hall. The decade spanning the turn into the 20th century was a time of rapid change for Georgetown College. And throughout the 20th century, with world wars and the Depression, and now into the 21st century, this story of our college has continued to include both times of great challenges and times to cheer. I first saw Georgetown College on a cold, blustery, snowy Thanksgiving weekend in 1964 in the company of my church youth director and his wife, who thought it would be the perfect college for me to attend beginning in the fall of 1965. Although not a person was in sight, the deserted campus intrigued me, especially the juxtaposition of the new Crawley Student Center and the stately grandeur of old Giddings Hall. I was also struck by the decorative facade of T-shaped Pauling Hall and the massive castle-like appearance of Rucker. The architectural variety fascinated me, and I sensed a reverence for the past blended with anticipation for the future. I felt an uncanny sense of belonging deep down, and I determined then that Georgetown College was indeed the right place for me. Even more than 50 years later, that feeling has not changed. I had hoped as a freshman to be assigned to live in Rucker Hall, but instead, I was in the first group of women to live in Pauling Hall after 120 years of men. In the winter of 1966, we women were moved into one of the dorms being built in the new residence park across from the chapel as a result of tremendously increasing enrollment to over 1,600 students and of needing additional administrative and office space. Again, I experienced the juxtaposition of the very old from the past and the very new coming in the future. Between 1965 and 1969, the new Science Center was built, and as a senior, I was mesmerized by my astronomy course experience in the new planetarium. Most memorable for me, however, was the majestic permanence of Giddings Hall. I loved having my drama appreciation classes in that old auditorium and always wondered about the lives of the hundreds of mass grafters and other students who had studied, recited, and acted between those hallowed walls since 1840. The legends that students helped make clay bricks from campus soil and that students had sneaked at least one bottle of Elijah Craig's bourbon inside one of those massive yet graceful brick columns were always fun to share when I led campus tours in the summer of 1968. I have since learned that in 1975, when interior remodeling of Giddings was being done, that the architects and engineers were astonished, upon careful examination, at the excellent workmanship done regarding the footers formed from 10 inches of hand-packed clay atop the hard limestone rock known as the Cincinnati Arch, the solid poplar floor joists measuring 23 inches top to bottom and 4 inches wide, and the poplar roof supports measuring 10 inches square, notched, fitted together, drilled, and pegged with wooden pegs.
They said that it could not have been done any better and that they needed no additional steel for reinforcement prior to the renovation. As an aside, by contrast, in 1971, before the very controversial tearing down of Rucker Hall, President Robert Mills stated, in response to the reports from architects and engineers, that the only reason Rucker was still standing was because the termites were holding hands. My 4 years at Georgetown College were solid ones, providing a rich, varied, and strong foundation from which I expanded as I built my life and my career. The passion possessed by my professors for their teaching and their care for my learning were clearly evident and inspired me daily in my 35-year career as an educator. I know many other students, now alums as I, agree. The many campus organizations in which I participated, including Kappa Delta, taught me life lessons about leadership, friendship, cooperation, and communication. And to this day, I treasure the lifelong friends I made while here. Georgetown College and its liberal arts tradition were invaluable for me, and I believe that they are the same for you students today. As we embark on this 2020 decade leading us toward the bicentennial celebration of our college in 2029, I would like to share the words of a president retiring from a university in Boston in 1959. He raised the question, is not a college thought of as an act of faith? That faith can best be described as the belief that knowledge is essential, is attainable, is possible of transmission, and when animated by moral and spiritual ideas, it becomes a reliable basis upon which to construct a human society. At a deeper level, this is a belief in persons, in their infinite worth, and in their capacity to learn. It is also a belief in their ability to discipline themselves physically, mentally, and spiritually. It's a belief in their creative ingenuity and a belief in their normal urge to contribute lasting values to mankind. As you serve and experience Georgetown College on this Founders Day and beyond, remember the legacy of our founders as they, too, through their vision and perseverance, acknowledge that Georgetown College is an act of faith at its deepest level, and it's a faith in the infinite worth of persons. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Maggie, for your wonderful address and for outlining part of the history of our beloved institution. We are inspired by your love for this college. Again, thank you very much. When I hear about the giants on whose shoulders we all stand, people like Rockwood Giddings or Robert Mills or wonderful faculty, staff, coaches that came before us, and I think about how distinguished they were and known for their excellent manners, and I think about myself singing Jingle Bells in a van with faculty and retirees. I feel a little bit like Gomer Pyle, perhaps. I'm sure that reference is lost on many of you students, but I'm going to keep working at it. I'm going to keep trying to get better. And I invite all of you, our alumni and friends, as Rockwood Giddings would, to continue to support beloved Georgetown, your alma mater, that college helped to shape your lives and who is shaping the lives of these young people here behind us. We need your continued support. As we come to the conclusion of our Founders Day program, Mr. Christopher Powell, Director of Choirs at Georgetown College, will come forward and lead us in the singing of our alma mater. Following that, the Georgetown College Chorale will offer the benediction. And after the benediction, please remain in place, students and visitors, until the faculty have exited the chapel. Please stand now as Mr. Powell comes forward.
Alma mater, our dear Georgetown, belle of the blue, 'tis thee we crown. Thou hast taught us truth and right, and to trust in God's own might. Our alma mater, thy dear honored name, is soul-inspiring. Long live thy fame. To us thou wilt be a beacon to guide, to duty, to faith, and truest loyalty. Remain standing, please.
Be gracious unto you. Be gracious.